that actually worked better than I thought. I was trying to pull a Palpatine, and if you get that reference, you're awesome. So, what is up guys? David here, sitting in my lovely office chair with my computer. A ton of my time is spent in this chair editing videos for all of you who are so awesome to stick around. Now 2014 has been an amazing year for this channel exponentially and how it grew. So I was kind of thinking about 2014 as a whole and what were the most popular videos made in 2014. But what else is interesting is only one of those videos that is in my top 10 in viewership wise was not made in 2014. So what that is telling me is that this year, so many of you guys made this channel happen. So many of you guys supported me this year, and look at where we came. So I figured what we'll do is we'll go through the top 10 videos and discuss them. So without further ado, top 10 videos of 2014. Alright, so number 10 is Zach's Hatch. Now Zach's Hatch was a very long awaited review with many of my subscribers at the time. It only made 260 wheel horsepower, but I think a lot of people wanted to see the car more because it was very much a budget build. It was a B20, so a 2-liter motor with a turbo strapped on and a street tune. And while it lasted, it was a lot of fun. Did Zach know it was going to blow up? Yes. Now, out of all the videos on my channel, I think this was the absolute worst shifting I've ever done because his transmission was screwed up, but the shifter and the transmission did not communicate well with each other. That's why you see me force it in a lot of the times. We actually shot the glamour shots for it very much in advance. It was about 2 to 3 or 4 weeks ahead before he got off again to be able to do the video. Other than that, the car is completely open downpipe. Your mirrors are shaking. You had to scream the entire review. Essentially, you had to really speak up because of this bassiness tone that this car had. Especially with how this hatch came to be. What it was till now, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what it is now today. The car was a piece of junk. Absolute piece of junk, and it's beautiful in comparison. So good job, Zach, and I'm glad that people enjoyed it. Number 9, the Twin Turbo 350Z review. It started off the year very well. Now the VQ motors in these cars, especially with bolt-ons, they still struggle to make some power, so that's why a lot of people tend to go forced induction later down the line. The car made in the low to mid 400 horsepower range, and it felt pretty good. And since the turbos were so small, they were nicknamed Disco Potatoes because they're so little. There was basically no turbo lag, so you could go right into it and have a really good time on a back road. Now Brandon, the owner of the car, was trying to sell the car, but he just couldn't find a buyer. And so I was like, hey, let's do a video review and I'll just say that's for sale. The car sold pretty quickly after that. The power of social media. But no, it was a great time and it was a very good start for the year. I was very confident that this was going to be a very good jump start. Unfortunately, this car did meet its demise later down the road with the next owner, which is very unfortunate. Rumor has it was flooding or something along those lines, so I don't think it was the owner's fault, but my heart goes out to the Twin Turbo 350Z. You will be missed. Number 8, boost in personality. This was the very first 240SX I reviewed on this channel, and I could not have been more excited. I was so excited to finally get behind the wheel of a 240SX, and it was SR20, it was very stereotypical Fast and Furious, had tons of personality around it, and Ricky was so cool about it. The week before at a local car meet, he just threw me the keys and said, tell me what you think. I said, dude, let's do a review on this thing, let's do it. And I knew it would make a ton of people happy. I actually saw that car during my Drift Valley video that I filmed in the past. And I was like, well, that's a pretty cool 240. But it was before he did the collage of Street Fighter on the hood. The car did have one problem during the review, and it cut out on me, I think, a few times, but it was mostly my fault. 240s a lot of times when you slow down, and if you don't drive it just right, it'll cut off on you. So that happened to me a few times. But other than that, we beat it up and it was a lot of fun. First time doing a donut in 240 as well too. That was pretty fun. As I like to call the 240 U-turn. It's just funny how Ricky is always telling me that he can't stand seeing himself in the background. During one of the glamour shots, he's just chewing down on a sandwich. He's just getting ready from Wawa. He's like, I'm so excited. I used the shot anyway because it was still a good shot. Plus it's like, Easter egg. This was also the first video shooting that I got in trouble for filming a video. I was cruising on the local back road that I was, and these two bicyclists showed up, and I was not going fast at all. I was cruising down the road. They pull up next to me and they go, what are you doing? I go, oh, you know, I'm just shooting a little video. They go, why? They called the police and we had to leave, and it was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I ended up running into the bikers again in the Smurf on the same road 2 days later, just going to a friend's house, and they said, why are you here again? I go, it's a road, you use it to go places. I mean, last time I checked, that's what it's used for, so don't quote me on that. Alright, number 7, Boostin' in Heels, the Turbo RSX review. Oh, David, why didn't you show the girl? You will not imagine how many times I got messages going, how dare you drive it and not let the girl drive it in the video. Guys, she asked me to review it, so I did. The only reason I put that in the title for being female driven is it's cool. I mean, isn't that kind of cool that with a male demographic hobby, for the most part, that is really cool that she had a turbocharged RSX that was clean. And what I loved about that shoot is I really took my time with the glamour shots. Usually how my reviews work is I'll shoot the glamour shots first, then I'll do the review part, and then I'll do the rolling shots. This time around, we did the complete opposite. I did the rolling shots first because my friends had to leave later for the rolling shot car. Then I did the review, and then I did the glamour shots. But the problem is with the review is that it started raining. Now think about it. Front wheel drive, turbocharged, 400 something horsepower in the rain. And the last thing that I even didn't know during the review, the car was open differential. Now what open differential is that one wheel will keep spinning while the other one doesn't really know what to do. That's like a nutshell kind of mindset. And that's why whenever you see me get on it, it yanks me left and it yanks me right. And another thing is a ton of people were saying, you were trying to race that BMW, weren't you? No, I was not trying to race that BMW because that BMW is Hunter of the BMW 335i review. I never shot in a parking garage before and I really enjoyed it. The orange lighting and everything just popped and made the blue pop. Alright, number 6, Car Culture Redefined by David Patterson. Yeah, I know that sounds so pretentious. Makes me sound like I hold my wine glass like this. No, it is honestly just my channel's trailer. The channel is about being open, being unbiased. I learned that they had this new trailer system on YouTube at the time, and I took advantage of it. I just went through all of my old video files and was like, I'm gonna make a quick little video. Number 5, the 530 horsepower Terminator Cobra. You might have seen another video called What Fixing a Car is Actually Like. We were trying to figure out how to fix this Terminator Cobra, and also at one point he accidentally turned it when we were push starting it, and Jordan had never had to push start a car before, so that's why he turned the key in the ignition instead of just popping the clutch. That's why you see a different driver do it when we finally get the car going after the push start. But that is the same Cobra as I reviewed, and here's the fun part. That review was shot 10 minutes after we fixed that car. So when you see me beating on this car and getting on it, that was right after we fixed it. The car had over 100,000 miles on it of hard mileage, and it was daily driven. So to drive it at Mustang Week, to hear this thing just scream everything, it was by far one of my most favorite reviews I've put out, and not just because it was a Mustang, because the car is just awesome. There's just something about a mean Terminator Cobra. There just really is. And I hear import people all the time when they see a Terminator Cobra, they go, you know, I don't really like Mustangs, but I like that Cobra. It is easily one of the best sounding cars on the channel, and sometimes I even go back just to listen to that audio file because it just blows me away. Number 4, the top 5 worst upgrades for your car. See, there's a term in this world that I like to call butthurt. Butthurt is when you get offended by something that's kind of obvious, but you still get butthurt over. I'm just playing around, guys, but that video, believe it or not, I had a fever that day I made it, and that's why my voice is so scratchily in that video. It's like all the way up here, and I sound awful because blah 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 blah. And I was just going through in my mind the other day, I saw a car with those hideous fake hood vents, and it just made me want to cry. And I was just like, what are the worst things you could do if you're trying to get into the car game? It wasn't so much the worst things, it was more like, if you want to be taken seriously in this culture, I'm just trying to help you out, dude. I personally like neon in a lot of stuff. When it comes to the car culture now, instead of the past, less is more anymore. So if you have neon lights on your car, yeah, it's your car. That's cool, but you might get some crap for it. That's more of the generalization of the video. It's not so much I'm saying you're doing something wrong. I'm saying just be prepared, if that makes sense. Alright guys, so we are to the top 3. Now the top 3 are pretty much, if I think about it, one of the main reasons why this channel still exists. Without these 3 videos, I definitely would not be as big as I am today. And so I want to thank the owners first for letting me drive their cars and being so down to earth and supporting me in this field. And so let's get to the top 3. You guys know them. Number 3, Nessa, an EVO 10 done right. Now, why did I say Nessa was an EVO 10 done right? Nessa was an EVO 10 done right because it is clean, it is simple, and it is beautiful, and at the time, the power was very balanced. It had a good suspension setup, it had great power, 540 to 550-ish wheel horsepower. And so when you went around bends, you could use all of that power in that all-wheel drive platform and just have an absolute blast. If you want to hear a funny little backstory though, we woke up early that morning and I was very, very hungry, and I was like, I don't think I can drive this fast as a car without eating something. You know, your body needs fuel to think and talk. So we're like, oh, screw it, let's just go to Taco Bell. That's a great idea. It wasn't a good idea at all. So 10 minutes down the road, we get onto a certain highway, and I get on it. I do all of 3rd and all of 4th, and right after that, I go, Sean, I need to find a bathroom now. But it was bad. Me and Sean ended up going to a Target and sprinting into the Target. And it was so ridiculous. But yes, other than that very too much information story, Nessa's shoot actually went fairly well, except one time. We were on one back road, and I got on it, and there was a person outside on their porch with a rifle, and I went right by him, and he was going like, you damn kids, like that with the rifle in his hand. I was like, uh-oh. And so I keep going, and I realized that he was trying to tell us it was a dead end. So I had to hit the brakes, turn around, and then go by him again. You don't piss off somebody in North Carolina with a rifle in their hand. No. But in the end, Nessa was a fantastic car to drive and a fantastic car to look at. It was actually featured on some other websites like rawevo.com as well, so that was pretty fulfilling too. Alright guys, number 2, you know it, Jasmine the XXX EVO. Now why is it the XXX EVO? Well, James didn't want the horsepower to be revealed. And I'm just going to tell you, it's up there. It is a very, very fast car. It was cold outside. We were spinning all 4 tires. It was just ridiculous. And it was such a nuts video because it's really long, and I feel like I ramble too long in the Jasmine video, if you know what I mean. And a lot of it is because I'm still getting my mind around the acceleration and I have to catch up. But the car just was so exhausting to drive. After about 40 to 45 minutes, I felt like I had just taken a road trip to Detroit. At the same time, it was one of the best privileges I ever had. It was also the video that turned me into an internet sensation meme, thanks to car memes on Facebook. And also, it was shared on Car Throttle, and that was the first time Car Throttle had shared any of my stuff. So thank you so much, Car Throttle, for noticing that video and help spread it around. It also opened a ton of doors for reviews, because a lot of people had the mindset of, oh, if he can handle that thing, then he can handle almost anything. No, not Supra people though, so please don't ask. But other than that, a lot of more people let me review their car after that. But we spun the tires so much in that video that by the time we got back to James's house, there were cords showing on all four. And that is why in one of the shots where James does a launch, it's on Hoosiers instead of the tires that you saw in the glamour shots. Is for safety. We had to put different tires on the car. But Jasmine was also the most miserable glamour shots of all time. It was 12 degrees outside, and the location we shot at was near the water, and it had a very U-shaped kind of area where we put Jasmine. Jasmine was in the middle, and around it was this kind of U-shape. So there's still snow on the ground. We're by water. The wind is brutal, and the wind would come in and channel and start cycloning. It was horrible. I don't think I've ever been that miserable, and I was shivering the whole time I was doing my slider dolly, while all my buddies were in Nessa and in my friend Nate's Evo, all nice and warm, watching me be miserable. Hey Nate, guess what? I love you, but shut up! On that note, without Jasmine, I probably would not have met a lot of you guys. Number 1, the sleeper status Civic. This 330 wheel horsepower bonkers little thing is the most popular car on this channel. I honestly at first did not know why, but as time goes on, I think I know why. It's obscure, it's different, it's something you don't see every day, and it looked like a piece of junk. The story of this Civic was that Jay, the owner of the car, couldn't sell it. Nobody believed him that it was kind of quick. So Jay calls me up one day and he goes, say, listen, would you do me a favor? Can you just film the speedometer of this car? And we can just upload it, and so I can prove that it's actually kind of quick. I go, yeah, sure. Meet me at this park. So we meet at this little tiny park where I used to play soccer as a kid. And we park the car, I get out, and this is during when it gets dark much earlier. So we're like at 3 o'clock, the sun goes down at 5-ish, you know. And I look at the time and I go, Jay, you wanna do a quick little review on this thing? And he goes, you would do that for me? Bam, we did those glamour shots real quick. I hopped in the car and went. And we did that review as quick as we could before the sun went down. That is why the rolling shots are so much darker than the rest of the video. And people are still sending me emails asking how much for it, and it's been sold for a while. But in the end, it was definitely an interesting car. It was very, very bouncy because of the stock suspension. The rolling shots, believe it or not, are taken myself in the Smurf. So I am driving while doing this and adjusting, and also as he goes by like this. But it worked. It worked out for the better. Is it the prettiest video I've ever made? No, definitely not. But it captured people's imagination and it captured people's hearts. I know it was featured on some big Honda forums and big Honda website as well, which blows my mind. So sleeper status Civic, still number 1. I'm highly, highly impressed. Alright guys, so that's the top 10 of this year. And so I want to thank all of you so much who watched all those videos. And thank you all so much for watching all my other videos that didn't make it to the top 10. They still mean so much to me because I put so much into them. I do it for you guys. I know you guys will always be there for me. So thank you so much for watching this video. And I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Skywalker.